Imagine waking up one day and discovering that your mind, your attention, your impulses, your sense of self has been subtly altered, not by trauma, not by life events, but by a glowing screen you hold in your hand. For the first time in human history, billions of people participate in a psychological experiment without being told they're part of it. There are no ethics boards, no consent forms, no warnings, just endless scrolling. What if social media isn't simply changing your behavior, but rewiring your neural pathways, reshaping the architecture of your brain, and programming your emotional responses at a biological level? This video is not a moral lecture. It's not about social media bad, life good. It's a map showing how platforms engineered for attention have learned to engineer the mind behind that attention. Today, we explore how the dopamine system is being redesigned, how attention span is collapsing, how memory is degrading, how identity is fragmenting, how social comparison rewires our emotional circuits, and most importantly, how to undo the damage. Let's begin. For hundreds of thousands of years, the human brain evolved under conditions of scarcity. Scarcity of food, scarcity of novelty, scarcity of information. Every new sound, new sight, new pattern mattered. It meant danger or opportunity. But today, the brain is exposed to more stimulation in a single week than most ancestors experienced in an entire lifetime. Social media has turned novelty into a constant. Your brain wasn't built for this. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for focus, planning, impulse control, developed in an environment where stimuli arrived slowly and meaningfully. Now we bombard it with micro videos, flashing colors, rapid transitions, boosted emotions, instant feedback, infinite choice. The result? The brain shifts from deep focus to rapid scanning, from sustained attention to micro-attention bursts. This is not simply distraction. It is neurological adaptation. Your brain changes in the direction of your habits, and our habits are now fueled by a machine that profits when we cannot look away. Dopamine is not the molecule of pleasure. It is the molecule of anticipation, of motivation. It pushes you toward something. And social media platforms spent billions discovering the exact pattern of reward timing that maximizes dopamine. Variable reinforcement. Meaning, not every post is interesting. Not every scroll is rewarding. Not every notification is important. But sometimes it is. And the brain loves sometimes. The same pattern drives slot machines. The same pattern fuels gambling addiction. Every swipe is a spin. Every scroll is a pull of the lever. Every notification is a chance for reward. The brain learns. Don't stop. The next hit might be the one. Over time, dopamine receptors adapt. Your baseline sensitivity drops. You need more stimulation for the same level of excitement. And suddenly, real conversations feel slow. Books feel boring. Work feels unbearable. Silence feels uncomfortable. Rest feels impossible. You are not broken. Your brain is simply adapting to the world you feed it. Humans once navigated forests, hunted animals, built tools, memorized territories, and sustained attention for hours. Now, we struggle to read a paragraph without checking our phones. The modern attention span is collapsing. Neuroscientists describe this as attentional fragmentation. Here's what happens. When you scroll through dozens of videos in minutes, your brain practices shifting attention rapidly, discarding information quickly, seeking novelty constantly, avoiding cognitive effort. The neural circuits responsible for deep focus weaken from disuse. It's not that you lack discipline. Your brain is rewiring itself to favor short bursts of attention over sustained mental effort. And algorithms reinforce this by rewarding shorter videos, faster pacing, quicker hooks, instant gratification. Social media doesn't just steal your attention. It trains your brain to lose it. Before smartphones, if you didn't remember something, it was gone. Memory was a muscle. Today, memory is outsourced. We rely on devices for phone numbers, directions, birthdays, tasks, facts, even emotional validation. This phenomenon is called cognitive offloading. Instead of storing knowledge internally, the brain stores the location of the knowledge. But there's another layer. Social media floods the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, with rapid, low-value information. When short bursts of content constantly interrupt you, the brain cannot encode information into long-term memory. You forget more. You remember less. You feel mentally sluggish. The tragedy is not that we have access to too much information. The tragedy is that we've lost the ability to hold on to the pieces that matter. Humans evolved in tribes, small groups, close proximity, face-to-face communication. Empathy depends on tone, body language, eye contact, synchrony, shared space. But online interactions remove those elements. Instead of reading people's emotions through subtle signals, we interpret them through text, emojis, fragments, filtered images, outrage-driven content. As a result, the neural circuits responsible for emotional resonance weaken. A UCLA study found that children who spent 5 days without screens became significantly better at reading facial expressions, a skill essential for empathy. Social media gives us more connections, but fewer relationships. It gives us more opinions, but less understanding. It gives us more communication, but weaker community. We were made for human presence, not digital proximity. The human brain has always compared itself to others. It's a survival instinct. But social media gives you more comparisons in 1 hour than your ancestors experienced in a lifetime. You compare your body to filtered bodies, your life to curated highlights, your worth to metrics, followers, likes, views. The brain starts to associate identity with visibility. Am I worthy becomes, am I seen? Am I improving becomes, am I performing? Identity turns into a scoreboard. This rewires emotional circuitry, leading to chronic insecurity, self-doubt, feelings of inadequacy, addiction to validation, fear of irrelevance. And worst of all, we begin living for the camera, not for ourselves. We become performers, not participants. We cultivate a persona, not a life. This is not insecurity. It is conditioning. Each time you open social media, you encounter outrage, comedy, fear, beauty, tragedy, envy, inspiration, despair, excitement, boredom, conflict, intimacy, all in seconds. Your brain cannot switch emotional states this quickly without consequence. Constant emotional whiplash weakens the regulation systems managed by the limbic system and prefrontal cortex. This leads to irritability, impatience, emotional numbness, mood swings, sensitivity to small stressors, difficulty finding emotional baseline. It's not that you are more emotional than before. You are emotionally overstimulated. The brain becomes a storm with no center. You think you choose what you consume, But algorithms choose for you. The feed studies you. It learns your fears, desires, insecurities, habits, and builds a personalized psychological profile. Then it reinforces your existing beliefs. It strengthens your emotional triggers. It amplifies your cognitive biases. Over time, the algorithm becomes the architect of your mental environment. You don't just consume content. You become shaped by the patterns of what you consume. Your worldview bends. Your preferences shift. Your thoughts adapt. And all of this happens silently, without permission, without awareness, without resistance. Boredom is not a weakness. It is a neurological signal that encourages creativity, reflection, and self-awareness. Great ideas emerge from boredom. Self-understanding emerges from boredom. Emotional healing emerges from boredom, but social media eliminates it. Every microsecond of emptiness is filled. The brain loses tolerance for stillness, silence, and introspection. Without boredom, you lose imagination, patience, internal motivation, creativity, resilience, ability to sit with discomfort. You end up craving stimulation instead of meaning. Distraction becomes the default state. The good news. Because the brain rewires through habit, we can rewire it back. Neuroplasticity works both ways. Here are science-based methods to restore your mind. Dopamine detox. You don't need a full detox, just micro-detoxes. Try. No social media for the first 60 minutes of the day. 10-minute boredom windows. Use grayscale mode on your phone. Disable non-essential notifications. This resets dopamine sensitivity. Deep work training. Practice. Reading 10 pages uninterrupted. A 20-minute focus block. Writing without music or multitasking. This strengthens the attention circuits that social media weakens. Reclaim boredom. Sit without stimulation for 5 minutes. Do nothing. Your brain will resist, and that is exactly the point. This is how you rebuild emotional tolerance. Replace scrolling with slower platforms. Instead of short-form dopamine bursts, choose books, long-form videos, long articles, podcasts, deep conversations. This trains the brain for depth. Use social media with intention, not impulse. Before you open an app, ask, why am I opening this? What am I looking for? Is this aligned with who I want to be? This interrupts automatic loops. Real-world connection is greater than online interaction. Schedule in-person talks, walks with friends, phone calls, shared experiences. Human presence repairs empathy circuits. Curate your feed consciously. Unfollow outrage cycles, doom scroll content, toxic comparison influencers, low-value entertainment. Follow accounts that make you wiser, calmer, more creative, more grounded. Your feed becomes the architecture of your mind. We are not helpless. We are not victims. But we must recognize the truth. Social media is not just a tool. It is an environment, one that rewires the brain in the direction of its incentives. The platforms want engagement. The brain wants stimulation. And when those two desires merge, you get addiction disguised as entertainment. But awareness changes everything. You can choose depth over noise. You can choose intention over impulse. You can choose to build a mind that is not shaped by algorithms, but by values. The modern world is loud, but your mind does not have to be. Protect your attention. Guard your inner life. Reclaim your brain. Because the greatest freedom you will ever have is the ability to choose what shapes you